The master plan of proposals to regenerate Convoys Wharf on the River Thames at Deptford has been under the direction of renowned British architect Sir Terry Farrell since March 2012. Informed by the site's historical legacy and the views of the local community, including a consultation open day, Sir Terry and his team are preparing to reveal the core ideas of the master plan for this Hutchison site.
When you're designing a master plan, you're looking at the spaces between the buildings, by which I mean the streets, the squares, the parks, the way it is composed in terms of shops and markets and good places to be, to walk, with trees, play areas and so on. The spaces between the buildings is what makes the master plan. And the only way is to work with local community and work at each stage, because it will grow over time. Think about a master plan, unlike a building, it will be inhabited by those long after you've finished master planning. It will change in 40, 50 years' time.
The site of Convoys Wharf has of course evolved quite substantially over the last 500 or 600 years. When Henry VIII founded it, it was largely a green area. It was an area of marshes and fields and a small settlement that was called Deptford Strand. Peter the Great came here about in 1698 to learn about shipbuilding and the wonders of these modern technologies, because this was real pioneering stuff. The master shipwright who lived here was the most important in the Navy, and this is where new ideas such as the Lennox that Pepys was responsible for pushing through were developed and were built. A site which has a great history of experimentation, both for the Navy and for horticulture through the work that John Evelyn did Sayes Court. And the challenge now is to bring forward that spirit, that extraordinary history in the new development.
The main features that are there at the moment that inform our plan, first of all, it's the river. And I noticed on the open day, people come in the site and they all walk right to the river. And so there's a long piece of riverbank. And on the riverbank is this great jetty, which is a wonderful place to walk, to go out from the riverbank. But then there are the slipways, or the remains and memories of the slipways, and we'll reinforce these in the street pattern. And right in the centre, which will be the absolute heart of the whole scheme, there is this great building, the Olympia building, and we're making that the heart of the scheme, where there's a new public square. And it will be like a big umbrella in that all kinds of things will happen within it for the community, for the residents in this new urban village, as well as the people of Deptford and the High Street. So it'll become a focus there. And I think that'll make it unique because of its possibilities.
We've been working very closely with English Heritage to look at the history and understand the significance of the site and its archaeology, and to ensure that's properly preserved and conserved into the future, and also to make sure that that wonderful history informs the development of the master plan.
The site is of national importance, there's no question about that. And because of that importance, we've actually been here doing the archaeological investigations for over a year. It's the largest archaeological investigation of a historic naval dockyard ever undertaken anywhere in the world, and that reflects its importance. And what we're basically doing here is ensuring that that importance is recognised in the context of the development, and the remains are preserved as a resource for future generations.
The landscaping of the site is a major aspect of the master plan.
There's obviously a huge legacy in terms of John Evelyn and Sayes Court Gardens, and we need to think about how we can capture that in an authentic way to see how the influence of John Evelyn can be interpreted and expressed in the landscape and in the way that the actual master plan is shaped. But also the river and the former shipyard is equally important. And some of the things that we're looking at the moment is a kind of transition between effectively a green, garden, richly horticultural environment, moving through to something which is perhaps more urban and more related to the riverside and to the presence of water.
The historical significance of the Convoys Wharf site is reflected through the design principles.
We always start a project by looking at the history, and there are a lot of geometries historically which we've discovered which can lead to our urban design principles and the future geometries of the master plan. So for example, there are a lot of slipways which run at 90 degrees to the river, and these start to inform our street grid. There's also the jetty and the riverfront itself, and this starts to set up an alignment and a parallel street grid to the river. And then of course there's the Olympia building, which sits in the middle of the site with its own geometry, which creates a very interesting space.
One element of the history that deserves particular mention is obviously the Olympia building, the listed building that sits on the site. It needs to be a focus for the new master plan, and it should be able to be seen from the river, but also from Sayes Court Park as well. And it picks up on the duality of the site, very much the blue side and the green side as well. We're looking to create a very strong connection between the High Street, both parts, south and north of the railway station, with the site as well. So the idea of making that strong linear connection with the Convoys Wharf site and the water's edge.
I have to say we're absolutely delighted with the approach that Sir Terry has taken. We're beginning to see a master plan for the site that I think genuinely reflects the history, that allows the community to work with us and engage. It's fantastic.
By its nature, a wharf, a dock, is enclosed and privatised because of security. And what's going to be totally transformed is that this is going to be, certainly compared with any other of the regeneration projects in central London, this one will be on the riverside. And I think the people of Deptford and all the people around here are going to rediscover a piece of the Thames with a great walkway, a great jetty, and a lot of history underneath the surface. And they will own it. They will have walks, they will have festivals and markets. This will be their territory.